Good morning and welcome back to the 1-year anniversary of the Beef and Barnzy Show, and I'm pretty excited for this show. As usual, joined by the talent of this operation, Lean Beef Stew. How are you today?
Pretty good. Yeah, and I had a nice weekend. Not as nice as yours, but it was it was a nice weekend nonetheless. I went down to see my buddy William Gannon, our buddy William Gannon. Everybody except AJ's buddy William Gannon. And yeah, I went for the old couch 3-peat. Wasn't quite as impressive as Couch's 3-peat, winning the Killeen King of the Bowl, but you know, levels.
That's right.
As it's right at the start of the show and we're waiting for people to come in, I'm going to apologize to the 3 Brooklyn Nets fans because I clearly give them the kiss of death, saying that they couldn't lose and they haven't won a game since. So how was your weekend, Chris? For those people who weren't following you.
Yeah, it was all right. We had Team Straggler. None of us had a team with a week to go.
Here we
put together a little squad. We had Rodney Black, a Houston Hall of Famer, and a Port Sider. We had Justin Bui, who shoots 300 literally every tournament that he bowls right now.
DFW top 5.
DFW top 5. It's a goal of mine. One of these days. Can't beat him. And then Anita Arnett / Mans, for those of you, a fellow Shocker alumni, and we never really bowled good at all at the same time, but we bowled good enough most of the time to win games. And with a frame to go, we could have not cashed, and things went okay in the 10th frame, and so we ended up sneaking into the 5th, and then we ran the ladder, averaging about 260 in the step ladder. So nice little weekend.
Absolutely. I do feel like I should get a little bit of a finder's fee for that. I connected the dots. I listened to you crying that you didn't have a team. I listened to Chris crying that he couldn't get a Chris Turner crying that he couldn't get a team for Bowie. And I said, well, Barnes is looking for a team. And then suddenly he was a little more motivated once you had the SASPA cheat code.
Left-handers.
I remember that I feel like your second year on the SASPA tour, you're starting to feel out the ropes now. You were complaining that you were, join SASPA, all you'll do is make money, was what you were saying. Well, now it seems like that's how it's going. So good times in the Barnes household.
Yeah, last night, local group here, the Laverys, along with Rick Justice and a couple of guys, Lavery and Rick Justice needed to shoot 150 over last night. Coincidentally, they caught exactly the same pair that I caught, as well as 3 other teams since last week of people I know. The right lane still is not very good. He 7-10, 5-7 twice, a couple other things. They had a really bad 5th game and were not able to take over team all events. So he was very disappointed and felt like he let the team down, but telling you that pair was no bargain. So
yeah, the thing that really sucked for them was it seemed like the pair that they got originally, because just a really quick story on that. Rick didn't feel very well, so they couldn't bowl the night they were supposed to bowl. And it seemed like they did a pretty nice job on those pairs that they were supposed to bowl on.
Right.
So that really
we're coming in hot early.
Yeah.
Adam Wolf. All right. Happy anniversary. Longest airtime Stu's had in a long time. All right. There you go.
To be honest, it's the longest airtime anybody's had in a long time.
You know what? We have enough people in here. This is the 1-year anniversary, and Stu and I spoke about this and decided, hey, what can we do? And we thought that maybe it would be best if we brought what we thought was the best guest of the entire first year back for the 1-year anniversary. It also happened to be our first guest, so maybe we didn't improve in time, or maybe he's just that much better than all the rest of them. We'll let you decide. But the Hall of Famer with 40 titles, 7 majors, and the stat nobody wants anymore, but 73 PBA 300 games, probably half of those with plastic or urethane, who knows. He's He's won team titles, doubles titles, singles, on the dirt, on the China. He's bowled more action than about anybody else on the planet at the same time. And on top of all that, he's pretty much the best guy in a Pro-Am I've ever seen. Welcome back to the show, Stormin' Norman Duke. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. And that was correct. I'm a pretty good Pro-Am guy because I let all my amateurs win at all the games, and I buy them Cokes and give them massages and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
You're not fooling us.
Still the greatest trick shot of all time in Hawaii.
Happy 1 year anniversary to you guys, man. I've been watching your shows for a year now, and you guys have improved. And you started out pretty good.
Can you believe we've been doing this bullshit for an entire year?
Nope.
No, me
I can't believe either one of y'all stuck to it this long. I mean, this is the longest y'all stuck to anything in your entire life besides your animals, Chris.
Well, that's not my choice.
Oh dear.
They'll follow you around, won't they?
Yeah. You can't shake them. So. Yeah, we do have a small petting zoo here now. So speaking of family, it's something I don't think a lot of people know about you. You have a son that's now, the last time I saw him, I think he was 12.
Maybe about that, yeah.
Give or take. So it was a minute ago, I think, if I have my numbers right. So tell us a little bit about your son now. What's he up to?
Yeah, he's 25 years old. He wasn't the athletic guy. He still is the IT guy, and he works for a company that analyzes ads and ad placement and things like that. So he makes sure all their computers are working and their comms are in, and then he plays guitar. And I'm telling you, when I say plays guitar, he took to the guitar like I took to bowling, where nobody tells him to go practice or anything. He just grabs it and plays for 3 or 4 hours. And man, is he fast. So that's my favorite thing is I hear the guitar about every night somewhere, and he's going at it.
That's really cool. Says, Norm, we all know better. Party Marty says hello, I'm sure. You are
Party
a great
Marty. I miss Party Marty.
Kevin Denny has a pretty good quote there.
Norm had one of the best lines ever way back when in Edmond, Oklahoma. The guy wanted to bowl him, and Norm says, "Take it easy on your family."
I don't remember that, but I'm gonna.
Sounds like something you'd say.
I'm guessing it's right. Yeah.
I have a lot of that as well. People say, "Do you remember when you said this?" No,
but that's good. I like it.
It sounds like something I'd say. I was mean.
Yeah. I watched a few of your matches there in Edmond. I guarantee you there ain't very many that want a piece of you there, or well, for that part anywhere.
Yeah, there was so much action in that building. It was so much that we thought that was normal. We thought that happened everywhere in the country every day.
Yeah.
But man, we had 4 or 5 Hall of Famers that came in there on a daily basis, and then when they had those Memorial Day events and the Santa Claus and the store was open. Oh my!
Ron DeGroat running the store, Altman in there. Yeah, I mean he had that whole stable of guys, out on tour at the same time. In the snack bar, there's a big picture of Ozio winning, some tournament with a big mural on the wall. How come you didn't get a mural? You were kind of one of his guys.
Oh no, I was on the other side of that train. See, I bowled against Ozio and Dickinson and all of Richard Altman's stable.
That's right. You were in Urban. You were kind of with Urban and those guys. Plus, well, you're on your own money most of the time. But
yeah, on my own. And those were the guys that I gambled against, Ken Urban and Ronnie Diamond and Jupiter, my goodness, they bet on Del Ballard every Tuesday night against me for must have been a year.
Little get-ahead money?
Well, you're not supposed to do as well as I did. And if I'd go through it and do it all over again, I may not ever win a match. I'm telling you, some of those I look back on and go, well, that wasn't very smart of you, Norm. You go in both Dickinson at Meadowbrook and Ballard at Jupiter. Good for you.
Kevin Denny says it was DeGroat that you said it to.
Well, that's probably true.
And he's right. Ron needed to be nice to his family and just not take that match. So,
yeah. Well, I think DeGroat, the only time he'd ever bowled me was when we went to Planet Bowl. You had to go to Planet. And I'm telling you, if you went and bowled that man there, you may as well just keep his score for him, because it's nothing you can do that's going to keep him from striking.
Greg Ostrander says, Norm is the best. Don't worry, Stu. He still owes me.
I do owe him. Greg Ostrander once in Chicago, when I was in the finals and he wasn't, my tire went flat. And I had to drive about 3 blocks to the bowling center on a flat tire, which, that's no good, or I was going to miss the squad. So I get there and the tire's all mangled, and you can't just put another tire on because it was mangled. Well, I didn't have any solutions. I called the people were going to come out and get me. It was Avis, by the way. Yeah, don't do that. And Ostrander, he took a drive up to Home Depot and bought all kinds of these little gadgets and came back and he said, Norm, here's your keys. You're good to go. And I had 2 more days on that car before I turned it in. And sure enough, he had me hooked up.
Greg did the old puncture repair kit.
Yeah, he didn't even need a jack. He just lifted it up on his own and back down. He had more fans out there watching him do that than there were watching Sean Rash win the tournament.
Good old Greg.
Family, one of the sweetest people I've met and have the pleasure of. How's your mom doing?
Oh, she's doing great. Not in Mount Pleasant anymore. She lives right outside DFW. So anything that happens in the bowling world, she's right there in Dallas to keep me informed in case anybody, goes off and says that they can beat me left-handed when they can't. She is such a sweetheart, though. I tell you what, 78 years old now, and she still just hasn't changed a bit.
It's an interesting question. What's your mindset on action bowling compared to tournament bowling? What changes? What do you do differently?
Well, I don't bowl action anymore.
Wow.
I haven't probably bowled an action game in 20, 30 years. What was different about it then is that was the only way that I could possibly get an entry fee for the tournament that I wanted to bowl. So I had to bowl action in order to keep it live. Everything to me at that time was about setting up some sort of action, because if you didn't bowl, you didn't make any money. And if you didn't make money, you couldn't bowl. So it was like what's the mindset? The mindset is, hey, look 2 or 3 days down the road, do you want to play in that event? Do you want to continue, or do you want to go broke? And at the time I had a job at the Boy Scouts of America store. I gave out the badges and the Cub patch, and when you got all those little 12 things you had to get in order to get the trophy. Well, I'm the guy that put all those and stapled them together. Well, that was where action I got good at. I said, you're either in there stapling those, or you're out here having fun bowling action for a lot more money than you're making over there.
It's true. So Stephen Hawk, you probably remember him. First time he met Norm was at Red River. Baldozio, big action, and then a towel match too. So, what's your biggest?
Ozio and I bowled a ton.
Yeah, you and Ozio bowled a ton. What's your biggest action match or best action match with him?
Oh my God, we had so many. There was that once where I'd finished second in the Santa Claus, and I'd missed a 310 in the 10th to shut the guy out. And so when he beat me, I felt like I'd just lost about 13,000. I think that's what the difference was. And I was about to go on tour. I needed that money, and I felt like I had just lost all. Well, then, people knew I had some money on me, so they said, well, here, bowl Dickinson and Ozio. So I did that for 3 or 4 or 5 hours on magnesium pins, and I got all the money at this time. So I remember TJ brought in a what looked to be a backgammon set, and he opened it up, and it was nothing but hundreds in there. 30 grand he came back in. So they went and found more money. And they said the only thing is we No, they said, only thing is we want to bowl on the mags now. So we weren't bowling then. And they changed and they put the magnesium pins in. And, oh, man, I left an 8-10 in the 10th that turned it all around. I ended up losing everything I had made for the whole week. I'd finished second where I thought I was going to win and go home and have $25,000 in my pocket. I'd drive up to my mom's place where I'm flying out to bowl the tour. And I told her I lost everything. She said, well, how are you going to go and bowl the tour then? I don't know. Mom, I don't know. I'd lost it all. So that was the biggest match against Ozio and Dickinson that night. I can't believe that I went from hero to zero in 3 sets. But I had been amping the bet up in the back, in the front, on the sides, everywhere. I'm betting so much money. I think it took me 3 sets to go broke. So there. It was pretty big.
That's a pretty big number when you're sitting on a quarter.
I couldn't afford gas to get home. I was absolutely, I remember it. I'm thinking, well, if I don't make it, I don't make it. At least it's a van. I can sleep in it.
Man, that's the least they could have done was give you a tank of gas for the way home.
Oh, no way. They wouldn't even give me the backgammon thing. I wanted it just so I could have a trophy, you know?
Sounds like a Roy Munson story. Real Munson.
I had a sponsor in my lifetime for 3 weeks, and it was Richard Altman, the same guy that had part of the action against Ozio and Dickinson that day. And when I got home, I had no money, and it was Christmas time, and not a very good holiday for me. I had to call Richard and ask him if he would sponsor me just so I could get to the next week. So that's how devastating it was. So when you're talking about bowling for everything you own and everything you have, I did it. I did it more times than I care to think about. So you say, what is the difference in mindset? I don't know, and I don't want to know. I've had enough of that. It was just so taxing. You know, when you won, it was awesome, man. I tell you what, when you won, it was party time. But when you lost, it was taxing.
Yeah.
So is that what drove you all this time? Is chasing that adrenaline, that rush from winning those monster money matches and those kind of things? Or
No. I think what drove me in the money matches was the activity on the tour. That was my dream when I was a kid. I wanted to be a pro bowler. That's it. And the only method out there was to, A, learn to bowl and beat people. And then B, you had to be able to afford it. Because if you have a sponsor on the PBA Tour, you're giving half of the money you make away. I don't care how good you are. For 20 years, let's say you're Belmonte for 20 years. You still don't have any money because you've given half of it away. Well, I knew that. That wasn't an equation I wanted. I had to have my own action, and I had to be on the PBA Tour. The only way there, Chris, was action. I'm not going to get it stapling Boy Scouts of America emblems together at $6.11 an hour or whatever. Probably less than that. I don't know. I'm guessing. That was a long time ago. I may have been making $2.35 an hour.
I know my moving furniture job was about $4.75 an hour. That guaranteed I was going to college.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a brief stint at Texas Shippers where I unloaded and loaded these big 18-wheelers. Well, it was during the Texas heat wave. So we had 14 days in a row over like 110, and we couldn't go in the nose of the trucks alone because we'd pass out and die, you know. So 2 of us at a time would go in there, and I'm telling you, we're moving ball bearing boxes. They were only about this big, but they were heavy. And I would do it 4 hours at a time and then have to go bowl. Well, I couldn't go bowling because I just stuck my hand on my ball. I couldn't pick it up. My hands were so tired from the ball. So there was so much motivation for me to be a pro bowler. I can't even tell you.
Yeah.
The question up here I wanted to, well, Rick Ramsey is just a comment. I think it probably might have been at Red River, but he says the best match he was ever in was Buckingham and himself versus you and Vito.
I remember that one, yeah.
Were you and Vito bowling together?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, he's just over 60 now. And along with you in that era, about as renowned an action player as you could find.
Yeah, he's the closest thing to Chris Barnes that we knew of. In other words, we knew that he was Hall of Fame caliber bowler, but bowling in mostly amateur events. He had a job. So when Joe showed up, he turned heads. It didn't matter that Gary Dickinson was in the building and so was Ozio. Joe turned as many heads as those guys, and for good reason. I mean, he was extremely good, and I got lucky. I mean, he and I started bowling doubles together, and it was, we had to actually beat ourselves for a while.
Pretty much.
We were lopsided favorites, and we didn't win as many as I think we should have for some reason. Heck, we couldn't even show up on time. I remember one tournament in Texarkana, Texas. I'm not kidding you. We finished in the top 2. I think that Mark Hill and Tony Westlake beat us, but we took 0 the first 3 frames apiece one match. And we're so mad at each other that we couldn't get there on time. Well, to get there, I'm driving in the shoulder, and I'm doing 100 in the shoulder, and we still take 0. So the next morning we bowl a match. Neither one of us could get up on time. We take 0 in the first frame of the first match the second time. Then we go and have lunch once, fall asleep because we didn't sleep yet ever, and walk in, and darn if we don't have to take 0 in the first doggone frame again. Now, we were lopsided favorites. 0 when you're bowling 6 games, it's not that big of a hickey when you're bowling most of the people that we were. But if we'd have done that against anybody that was good, they, of course, won and we'd have been out. But those are the kinds of things that we had to win and overcome.
Well, just so you know, things haven't really changed that much for Vito, because every tournament at Astro starts at least an hour after they say it's going to.
Well, there you go. That was what I dealt with on a day. And plus, I was no better. I mean, he was a couple, 3 years, maybe 4 or 5 years older than me. So he was kind of the father figure to me. So I wasn't helping in that.
Yeah.
Lonnie Wallachek and I tried that once, except we missed 8 frames. It turns out 8 frames is a little bit too much. We end up losing.
You missed 8 in a row, though. You missed 8 in a row.
Yeah, the first 8 frames, they had a catch-up round, and we missed it. One of those deals where, the bracket's an hour and a half behind. We show up, we think we're a half hour early. Turns out they had a couple of unopposed matches and dead pairs everywhere. And we walk in the building, and every match is in the 3rd frame except our match. Both guys are on the lane. Both guys bowling at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
They can get shots off.
I don't blame them. Fuck lane etiquette.
Hey, you got Chris Barnes and Lonnie Wallachek. I can't believe they're not just punching the button. Just take 0 yourself. Just to get
over with. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got 8-0 3 times in a row. I'm not even shooting my spare.
Or just get to the 3rd game with 0. I got 6. We won. You guys won with 6.
Frames, but not all in one game, Chris.
It's crazy. Some of those stories. I mean, Machuga did the U.S. Open. That didn't work out as well.
No.
You got to know your field for that one.
Yeah. When you're going against 480 other people, it's a little trickier to give away frames.
He, to be fair, he did beat 396 of those guys.
I do believe he did make the cash. If I'm not mistaken, he was in the hunt for the top 24, even missing like 3 frames. So,
man, I think he may have made it that year. There was
one
year
he bowled 24 that year. I can't remember.
Man, he bowled 400 over that morning somewhere and lapped the field. Now, I don't know if that was the same event, but I do know that he went from 0 to hero pretty quickly. And the U.S. Open, if you shoot 300 over in a U.S. Open round, you just barbecue the whole. You just send them all into oblivion.
Or to the truck to drill whatever that guy was using, even though it's not going to help.
Everybody's like this on the way to the truck. I want what my guys.
Our old friend Wolfie, he says, just have Norm on the show every day. Every show.
I love Paul Wolf. How you doing, Paul Wolf? Nice to see you again.
So you're in your 50s now. You've been on tour for sneaking up 40 years.
All of them.
Yeah, since you're basically out of Garanimals, you've been on tour. And The thing,
I'm still in Garanimals, by the way. You can't fit a wallet in the back pocket of Garanimals. You can't do it. You can only fit a credit card, and I still have them.
well, they
used to say
color coordinated then.
Chris Warren used to say it's the back to school specials that he looks forward to the most.
He's still bowling around here too now.
I tell you what, he'll never quit. He's got more, lead and steel in his body than anybody I know.
He's got a few in there. What has changed from you? Like, we bowl in some of these places, and they're basically a linen closet for a locker room. So it's impossible to go, oh, Norm, he's not the biggest guy. And you bump into you every once in a while, you go, holy crap, that guy's like, you're stuck. You just don't dress in a bicycle outfit like Amleto. So Amleto gets all the credit, but you're in every bit of good shape as he is. No.
Oh. All right. At 57, I do. I work out probably 70%, 30% as far as bowling now. 70% in the gym, 30%. And it used to be 90-10 bowling versus working out. I think you have to at our age. I really do. But to put me in Amleto's, no way, no how, no way. I'll tell you. I'll give you a little cheat. 2 days ago, I'm practicing for this. I'm training, whatever you want to say, for this event in Portland, Maine, that you have 2 minutes to throw as many strikes as you can. So it's the strike derby. So I thought, all right, well, I've got to do this so my ball doesn't go all the way to the end. I've got to change from 7 steps to 5 steps. And I got to go quick. So I said, all right, timer on. Bang, here we go. So when I quit, I was so huffing and puffing, I couldn't throw another one. My legs were about cramped up, and I looked down at 31 seconds in. Amleto could go for 25 minutes. I'm telling you, he could do it for 25 minutes. I got 31 seconds in, and I'm like, So today, right after we finish here, I'm going, yeah, thank you, Josh. I need it. You said it right there. So I'm going to do the same thing today.
I saw some being gassed.
Say again?
I saw some 20-somethings look pretty gassed at the end of that one last time.
Yeah. Last year, I was watching the field, and I said, man, Tommy
feel
Jones
like
looked like he couldn't say anything for 10 minutes. They were trying to interview him. And
I do feel like there's a big advantage to the two-handers in that one.
Oh, absolutely there is. That's why when I turn
you can almost throw it off a one.
All that money out of them. I'm going to.
Simo can almost throw a one-step approach to do that. Just leave the balls at the foul line.
I know.
Him and Carl were getting off a ridiculous amount of shots in that thing.
They're in. They said something the other day. A 14 to 17.
Yeah, they strikes, but that wasn't how many shots they were getting off. They were throwing 20 to 22 shots.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was 14
to
17.
No,
I'm not
no.
even up to that yet. I'm going to have to strike in every single ball only to finish 6th.
Well, no, you could just go the Chris Prather route. Chris Prather was blessed by Jesus in that thing last year. He had the second lowest amount of strikes every round. Unfortunately for him, the person he was playing had the lowest amount of strikes every round.
Okay, I'm on that train. I want him.
I think Kyle bowled 1 round less than Prather and still had more strikes than Prather had.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. But now, who does it favor? Oh, absolutely them. It takes time for us to get our thumb in that ball.
Yeah.
1. And 2, they're getting so many revs on it. They get free ball speed. A lot of that's free ball. I got to throw that thing. They're 15 pounds, by the way. I'm not. There's a whole lot of reasons that I should be worried.
Still man weight.
They say that. Heck, I'd throw a Volkswagen bus down there if they'd let me.
Yeah.
I just don't. I mean, everybody tells me, Norm, you get differential. Norm, you get all this hook. You get it. Yeah, and if you take that and you throw hard outside of 5, like I like to do occasionally, and you leave 4 or 5 4s, 5 7s, you put that extra pound in there real quick. Like I can't spare the 4 5 7.
This is the 16-pound appreciation thing, though.
Yeah, the 3 of us were still on that. The physics actually still exists, regardless of what opinion.
It's doing real well for us.
It's just, I'll tell you what.
We can all bowl with each other in the.
We can all bowl with each other.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah, I was. I'm trying to think over whether really bowling well at the Masters was worthwhile, because I got about a $4,000 check from the Masters, but it also meant that I didn't get to choose who I could bowl with at Longview, and I could have made about 15,000 at Longview. So in hindsight, it really didn't work out that well for me bowling well at the Masters.
Yeah, sometimes it's like that, bro.
Maybe confidence-wise it did, but nothing else. You know, that's just pride fucking with you, as they say. Oh dear. Science.
I
bet my man Bryson DeChambeau would throw a 16.
I tell you what, he would do it, and he would throw it at about 74 mile an hour, and he would Wally 4, 5, 7, 8, 10 every single shot, and I'd love it. Bring him in. I want to see it.
I love it.
Do you remember your very first action match?
Very first action match? Very well. There's no way I can forget it in the history of mankind. I was in a suit, fresh off of prom night. And I don't know. It was like not even high school. It was earlier in high school. So our suit cost like $6. Yeah. And, you know, we had escorts and all that kind of stuff. Well, I came back and I'd had an issue, and I had messed in my drawers. So I had to take my drawers and throw them away. And they drove me. It's Friday night. Drove me to my dad, or to the bowling center, and I'm in a suit with no drawers. And my dad says, "Shoe up, juice you're in." Well, I don't have any clothes. I just have a suit. Now this is back in the day where your collar came all the way down, and you know you were right. Well, there's no way I'm saying no. I don't care if I'm in a suit or not. This is action. I've been keeping score for 5 years, dreaming about this. So here I go. And then I start bleeding out of the rear end of this suit because I have no drawers, and it's cutting me. Well, I don't know. I think it's like your thumb. You get a little blister, you keep going. My dad calls me over. He says, "Juice, you got to tell me what's up with you're bleeding." I had to quit bowling right then and there because that's what you do when you're bleeding with no drawers in an action match, you know. So when you said, "Can I remember it?" Yes.
Josh Blanchard has a nice little memory from you. He says, "Best Norm story. I was bowling at Fountain Valley the week after I fell on the lane. I bowled him in match play and spared the 7-10. Norm walks over and whispers, 'See what happens when you let go of your spare ball, Josh?'" You had a good day that day.
I tell you what, I was on a roll that day, wasn't I?
Changing shirts, giving young rookies a hard time, still making the show.
It's also gone the other way a few times. I think I'm hearing this story.
Oh my goodness! Oh,
I got being picked up and moved by Steve Cook.
Picked up and moved. It not only then, but also, my goodness. Larry Lickstein and I got into it one time, and Steve was the one who grabbed me, and he put me under his arm like a football. And Pappas and Dickinson and 3 or 4 other guys shoved Lickstein up into the bathroom. This was at the Tournament of Champions, and all kinds of things had gone on to elevate this to this magnitude. But Larry and I were in the mood, and so. Steve had me here, and he's just walking around like, you know, talking to people with me like a football. Of course, I was probably 125 pounds, and he's not.
Yeah, it's 6'7", whatever that is. I don't know.
Yeah, and you can add up the weight of Larry and I at the time, and we can't beat a 220, 230. And we are salivating out the mouth. Both of us we want action. That was the only the only time I can remember being that miserable at somebody, you know. But Steve helped me out because Larry would probably beat me up.
That's funny.
What's your highest game bowling out of a towel?
Well, I would say somewhere, I have to guess, somewhere in the 240s.
Oh, no.
I
wanted you to say somewhere north of 299.
Oh, no. Well, we would never finish. As soon as you make the number and they're good, you just stop and clean it up. You just, we call them slide them over. Yeah, you didn't want.
You didn't want people to know.
No. But I tell you what, in y'all's area, James Askins, he's the guy who taught me the towel shot. He beat me for $800 one night doing it. And I gave him the $800 at Meadowbrook. And I said, James, thank you. And he couldn't believe I'm thanking him for giving him. I said, you have just made me a fortune. I had that towel shot down in less than half an hour. And I was ready and hit the ground running. So I did really well out of throwing it out of that towel.
You inspired me. We had that skills shot thing, and obviously you're miles better than everybody else. But I sat there and watched you and studied you and watched you and watched you and studied you until I could figure out how to get it through the chair anyway with a little bit of rotation, which is enough for me to get by everybody else. So
yeah, of course. Oh yeah. Did you ever win that?
I won the skills thing, yeah. Because I wouldn't pick things that were as hard as you guys did. I just picked things I could make that they didn't.
Yeah, and there was, this is one of the reasons that that Parker always got there is, it was basically a lot of setup stuff. But heck, when Voss and I are on television, we just said, go for it. It's your chance to do something that like some of those we do 1 in 7 or 8 at best. You're 1 in 7 if you have a good day, and we're doing it for all the money right on television.
Voss is the craziest. Voss is the best I've ever seen.
When he put the hat on, one time
when he put the hat on, tried to make the 5-7.
So he comes at me with that the night before. He says, "Oh, I got it. I'm going to do. I don't know if it was 2 balls in each hand. I think it was 2 balls in each hand, and then 1 on the head." And I said, "All right, you got me. Tell me what you're going to do here." He said, "Well, I'm going to put a ball cup here. It's going to be more like one of those bag things that holds the ball. And I'm going to find a way to strap it to my head, but when I throw it, I'm going to dip it down." And I said, "Well, then I'm not missing that." Normally, we don't even go in and watch the other guy play, I said, no, I'm not missing that. Sure enough, duct taped the whole thing, but it didn't go well, but it was great to watch.
Yeah.
So Voss is doing something here for $25,000 he's never tried in the history of his lifetime. I love that guy.
Oh, he's brilliant.
Yeah.
If Voss had just done every single trick shot that he did was throw 2 balls, 1 with each hand, he would have won. Nobody can beat him doing that.
Nobody. No.
It's like, for people at home who've never seen him do it, we were in Barcelona one year, and he spared the baby split, the 2-7 on the left lane, and the 3-10 on the right lane at the same time.
And he would do it over and over.
Oh, yeah. Over. And then he said
he would come in the next day with something helmeted to his hat.
But I still, the one that I find the hardest to believe is his 2-8 one. He goes across the front of the 2-8 with his right hand, so he clips the 2 on the left side, and then he spares the 8 with his left hand at the same time. It's like, and when he does it, you're just like, how the fuck can you concentrate enough to go across the front of the 2-pin and then make the 8-pin with the other? It's just like,
and how do you come up with that? I can see the 2-7 and the 3-10, things like that. But the one with the 2-8, when he explained it to me, I said, "Why the 2-8? Why not any of those others?" I don't know. It's
just, I mean, I can't throw a ball with my left hand, period. So for me, watching him do that when he throws 2 at the same time, I'm just like, I could barely throw 2 tennis balls at the same time and get them to go in, like, down what would be a lane. And he's controlling 2 bowling balls to the point at which he's like, this one's going to be slightly behind this one. I'm just like, how could your brain control both sides of your body at the same time?
He is amazing when he does it. And he would even say, "Norm, you just throw it left-handed." I said, "Brian, I average about 120 left-handed, if that." We said, "You teach bowling. Teach yourself how to bowl left-handed." not the easiest thing I've ever seen done, Brian. And he just felt like it was supposed to be so easy to swap hands. No, try writing with the left hand.
Well, the thing that was most amazing about that whole deal was, right, my friends were like, oh my God, Brian Voss is the greatest living human. Like, they thought it was the greatest thing ever because they just come for a holiday in Barcelona. And then Voss goes, oh no, it's better than that. Watch. He goes, you see how the right hand ball is sparing the 310 first? I can do it the other way around. And I go, what? So on lane 3, he goes, I'll spare it quicker with the left hand this time. So he threw the left-handed one faster than the right-handed one and spared them both again. And I'm just okay, now you just need to go away, boss.
Right, exactly. Exactly. If it hadn't have been for Voss, I wouldn't have had any success at trick shots because he got me thinking about things that you just – like I'm going to throw one ball to the left hand, one ball to the right hand with the ball return in the middle. Mm-hmm. Well, why wouldn't you do it over here? No, that's too thin. That's just not hard enough. This right here takes most of the field out of play. Well, the small one gutter, it took me out of play. and now you're doing the big gutter. I was taking the rest out of play. That's the way he thought.
When you put the ball in the left hand, you put most of the field out of play.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We can't even wipe our brow left-handed.
Yeah. It's awful. He was making the 5-pin on both lanes, which I thought was plenty impressive. I didn't know about the baby split. I can't make that with either hand on any lane, so it doesn't matter.
My reset button leaves one.
So where was it that we bowled just recently, Chris? Me and you. It was a couple of weekends ago. Chris 2-8-10 casually strolled up with the left hand, smoked it. Where did you spare that? It was like the weekend before last, wherever it was that we were both bowling. But yeah, I was with Anthony and I'm like, what a fucking cheater. Just take your open and piss off.
I was a bowling alley rat. I can bowl a little bit left-handed.
Oh no, you've spared the two. I'm telling you, you are by far the best I've seen of the guys who throw it left-handed at the 2. Because every time I've ever seen it, it's been like, that's actually got a prayer.
Yeah, it's close.
I always remember Fagan. We bowled the in Sweden, and he calls down the tournament director to ask them for permission to be able to throw left-handed because it was the last frame of his best-of-5 match, and he needed to spare it. So they had a little conference as to whether it was allowed or not, and they go sure, and the crowd's silent because every match is finished, and everybody's like, "Wow, he's going to go for it," and he threw it the gutter just before the arrows, and we're just like, "Wow." It was like the worst anticipation ever. He might as well just kicked it down there. Hey, can I kick the ball at this? But, you know.
We talked about trick shots and you being in awe of Norm, or in awe of Voss and his confidence of trying a shot never done before. Meanwhile, I was at Letterman with you. They put a lane out on the street, perfectly level, of course, because it's not 2x4s, they're 8 inches, 9 inches long. So, and then he does a spinning ball trick. And for those who don't know, he spins the ball down there slow and then ricochets it. Well, he does 2 different ones. The one where you leave something that the sparrow is going to make, and then you have the one where you ricochet it in 710.
Ricochet it off, yeah.
Yeah, there's only a small pit there. Well, so this lane is ridiculously how bad it is. We've oiled the lane, which was me with a spray bottle, putting it in there. Somewhere shortly after that, Tommy was throwing it over a chair, and it's a trampoline. He put a hole in the middle of it.
And it landed on the lane and put a hole about this big in the lane because he didn't have enough 2x4s under to support it. I remember that one. So, yeah. And then your squirt bottle, remember, it came out in a stream. It wasn't a spray. So you were just squirting little spotches everywhere. And then we're using our feet to try to spread it.
Yeah, just moving around a little bit. Here we go. And and now we're going to do it live. And Norm's got the saying, his ball goes like this down the lane, his little spinning ball. That I have no idea where it's going to go. He goes, I got this. Huh? He goes, I got it. We've tried it like 8 times, and he had the runners out there making sure that we can do whatever shot that we're going to do. And he goes, I got it. Well, this ought to be good. I can't wait to see this. Sure enough, 0 for 14 in practice. Lights come on. Ball spins, goes down there, goes, in the right gutter, almost in the left gutter, comes back, then boom, win, boom, got it. Best trick shot, winning. David Letterman, he's, Norm's the man. And
my God!
David says in my ear, he says, was that on purpose? Dave would ask some of the most generically mundane questions, but his tone was, well, was that on purpose? Best trick shot I've ever had in my entire life, bar none, and he doesn't even know it was a trick shot.
What were you doing? Yeah, I don't know. We tried to do an eagle there. I had Tommy holding a trash can off the side of the lane, so I got to throw a can at Tommy. And it missed. That is where I was going to go.
That was a phenomenal day, by the way. We put a hole in the lane, and even Letterman says it looks like there's a hole. Is that supposed to be there? Like, no, Dave. No. Put that in practice before we start. So Sam Mulligan was there, and she said, well, it's probably going to put a hole in the lane. And I told him, no way. No chance. No chance. We have those panels and hole in my garage. I'm not putting a hole. I could throw that thing. His first shot throws it over the chair, puts a hole in the lane. She looks right at me like, Norm, you're the dumbest man I've ever met. Everybody in the sidewalk knew that was going to put a hole in. You're like, no, go ahead. It's fine.
And Sam was always very straight faced with that stuff.
Oh my gosh! And because my best friend at the time, Eddie and I go back so many years, and she's now married to Mike Edwards. She will tell me just like it is. There's no sugarcoating it. There's no. She go below the belt first, and she's like, "Good call, Norm. Good call. Now we have a hole in the lane."
You're gonna do a trick shot round that one, Norm?
And I'm like, well, I didn't forget the 2x4s that are supposed to be in between the others. Anyway, I remember Dave going, there seems to be an obstacle on the lanes. Is there a hole down there? For those of you, he is probably about, I don't know, I'd say 16, 18, 20 stories up in their big live stage thing, while we were down on 52nd Avenue or something like that. So he can't see anything except the monitor. So he's trying to differentiate, what is it on this lane? Is it a football? Well, it was a hole.
Yeah.
But it was a hole.
Hey, to be honest, we probably bowled on some lanes that were worse than a hole.
Oh, no doubt about it.
At least you could see the hole.
Yeah, we could see the obstacle for a change. Yeah.
At least you could see the hole. Yeah, they don't do much pre-tournament anymore. We used to have racks that went through, and there were a whole lot of things that, like you mentioned with the paddock areas nowadays. We have 10 times more bowling balls now than we used to, and we have half the paddock space. But in the pre-tournament, that's just not that important. So the things that we dealt with then that drove us crazy. A lot of those are fixed, but the things that we really did good there, now they drive us crazy.
It's funny you should bring that up. Do you think that racks are worse now than they were before, or that people bitch about them more than they did before?
Oh, they're much worse on the tour. They're probably better throughout the United States because you have so much more technology to keep them on spot. But we had pre-tournament where we would require them, or at least try to go through every set of racks and make them to where they are on spot. And they did an entirely good job back then. Now, you would have those 1 or 2 pairs or lanes or whatever. Now it's every single lane, every single pair in the history of mankind. You could throw a bowling ball through the 1-3 a lot of times, And this is no downgrade to our hosts at all. It's just the norm. It's the norm. The bowling balls are so strong and the scores are so high, it's kind of hard to convince a proprietor to make a rack better when he's had 9 300s on it in the last month, so it's just a different world, I think.
Or when 65% of your revenue is open play, and they don't care.
Exactly. Why in the world would I care?
Yeah, no, it's just interesting. I did find it. The one thing that I did find kind of fun about Simonson's blow up on TV was that the two-handed guy was moaning that the rack was bad bowling against the guy with 330 rev rate. I thought that was kind of funny because realistically, it probably hurt Thomas way more with his front nine than it hurt Simonson.
You absolutely can make that argument. No doubt about it. But either case, they're both pros. They're both trying to do.
I agree.
A job. I'm not condoning any behavior that would draw attention to something that a proprietor has to throw resources at. But I understand it. I don't condone it, but I understand it.
Yeah, it's like we've talked that with Simonson being in a bowling center and doing all that work himself, it of course becomes a personal thing because he's doing the same work on his center that's not on tour, but it feels like everybody should. I think there's a lot of that goes around. When you put in the own work, you expect other people to do that as well.
Right.
Because you're not really casting stuff.
They know what is required to fix that problem, too. In some cases, it's a lot more than what a novice would think. And in other cases, it's a lot less than a novice would think. And like you said, he's not a novice. He's in there doing all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And bowl's not right. They can set a good rack, just not for very long. So.
And now we've got these string thingies.
Hey, Chris, a GSX can set a good rack for everybody you're bowling, just not for you.
No.
That's the bowler's mentality to it.
Oh, yeah, that is the bowler's mentality. Yeah, that's rack's good for him, but not for me. I'm not sure about that. Those GSXs move around in a week. It's kind of crazy. Here, I'm interested to hear your take, because Stu and I have a definite opinion about this. Is Francois this generation's version of you?
No, I think I was the last three versions of him.
Just a take.
Yeah.
Francois is an incredible talent. There is no doubt about it. I don't see, just because we're both small and we both play all over the lane, we don't do the same things.
Right.
No way.
Yeah. I think
Francois seldom plays right to left. I made more of my money going right to left than most. He is starting to really hook the lane, which I did really good hooking the lane for a while. But
Player of the Year, 1994.
Yes, sir. And he has got these attributes himself that far exceeded mine in a lot of different areas. And of course, you have to be able to win 2 U.S. Open championships. Man, oh man.
He just still didn't have more of those than you either.
No, but he's a lot younger. He may have a whole lot more when it's all done.
I feel like
much better take. Norm is this generation's Norm. So,
Casey, thank you so very much.
I feel like the one thing that you two both have in common, and it's nothing to do with how you bowl. I think that you're both able to put aside the negatives that you don't have a certain thing in your game. So a lot of people get wrapped up in the fact of, well, that guy can do that and I can't. And I don't think that either of you two ever worry about that. And I think that that's the one thing that you both have in common. I bowl with Frankie a lot. I think I have more things in common with you than Frankie does. Like
I wouldn't disagree with that. Yeah.
He doesn't have huge amounts of tricks and different ways to throw the ball, but he's very good at not getting flustered about the fact that this guy can do this and I can't do this, and he doesn't let that worry him. And that's what I think you two have in common. I don't think how you bowl is you have many commonalities at all.
Right. No, me either. And I separate it for those of you watching as just our setups. He has the same setup every time he bowls, no matter what. I have a different setup just about every time I bowl, because I'm doing things in my setup to accomplish my goal. He's doing different things. Maybe he's like a Brian Voss. Voss didn't do it like me either. Voss paced quicker to the line when he wanted more speed. I may raise my swing and throw it harder, or may
beat two,
and then I'll throw it over here to go over there.
System to hook it, and throw it straight. And I mean,
yeah, you know, but Frankie does it his way. He'll get over here in front of the ball return and twirl it over and hook the lane. So we're both going to do the same things at the end. And we both, I think what most people are going to put us in the same category is we're both not enjoying the power advantage. At least I'm not anymore. And we're still okay. Frankie's more than okay. He's a great.
No, he like I say, it's just I find it very interesting that people, and it's usually people who have a lot of power who make the comparison, because both of you guys don't have a lot of power, but they don't really. I don't feel like they see the intricacies of the things that like a true field player does, like and the way they change it. And it's just that's to me anyway. Like I feel like Frankie's really good at formulating a plan of what he's going to do with balls. Whereas you don't have a plan of what you do with balls. Like for you, you don't really give a shit. You've got the 3 that you're going to bring in, and like you're almost more likely to change ball because the color's pissing you off going down the lane than you are because you desperately need one, because you'll just make it do what you need it to do.
I look at those 2-handers and what they're creating. I think there's a ball back there and I can do that one. That's why I'm changing it. I have no idea that's not in my repertoire anymore, ever. I tell you what, though, Frankie and I do have, I think, one thing in common, and that is our ability to stay in it mentally. Frankie had his problems a couple of years back, 3 or 4 years back, where mentally he was gettable. And then he flipped that. He realized it, and he flipped that. He said, look, about the same time he said, I'm going to go back to what got me here and quit trying to do all of these extra things. Well, the main thing that got him there was his mental game, and he brought that back. And I tell you what, I remember in the U.S. Open this year, I was watching him, and I was frustrated. I was going down, down, down. And I said, Norm, you need more of that. And I was bowling Frankie, and I'm pointing at Frankie myself. And I said, you need more of that. And it was almost the end of the event. We probably have 2 more games to go, and the event's over. And then I hear him under his breath say some really profuse things. Okay. But nobody heard it. It was just under his breath. And I went, now I know we're the same. A lot of times people say, how do you keep it together? How do you just not go, no, inside I'm saying some things that you don't even want to be let out of the bag, right? And I think that in that way, we're able to have those emotions, but then curtail them to the point where they just don't get in our way as often as they get in the way of a lot of players.
I was about to say, if we had Sean Ryan or Jim Callahan come on here and we'd be going, Frankie's really like, he can stay in the moment. They'd be like, are you guys insane? You guys little bitch moans about everything. And he's
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
Well, he manages to get it out at the back because he doesn't worry about it when he gets to the foul line. I can tell you that.
Yeah. But Frankie will never talk his way into someone's head like Norm did at the WSOB to Ciminelli.
Well, first of all, I didn't talk myself into anybody's head. I was having a hard go of it. My mom was in the back, and Mike J comes on, down by 42. And it was early, and I thought, it can't be up by 42 already. So I said, how many is that? And that turned it around, but it wasn't something that was directed at an end result. I just needed a smile. I needed a breather of saying, look, everything's going to be okay. And as it turned out, me being, a little more relaxed and with capability of smiling may have had an effect on Ryan. I don't know. I think he threw great shots and just left 7 pins every time.
Sure you do.
Sure I do.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Let's go with that. Yeah.
You guys give me so much more credit than I ever deserved. I swear to you.
Oh yeah, and you paint yourself as just the saint who's never done any of these. Me? Would I do that? I'd never
didn't even know
that
happened.
The only thing we've changed between some generations is that you didn't say mate after. Oh, I didn't mean it, mate.
I didn't mean it, mate.
I didn't know. Huh.
Oh, my bad.
How many times do you not mean it in a row? When does this madness stop? This generation, or do I have to go home first? Oh my gosh. You know what? All sports are the same. I watch these guys on the baseball and some of the things that they do that's so childish. It's crazy. And then you got the Brooks and the DeChambeau, little soap opera thing. Every sport's the same. They're the same.
I just love the fact that nobody can really 100% decide whether the two golfers absolutely hate each other or whether they're 100% taking advantage of the fact that the PGA has put up like $40 million for social media and those two are like running away with it.
That's gotta be it. They can't just like each other, or they get together and say, "Hey, you know what? Stay 6 feet away from me."
I mean,
wear your freaking mask.
It's a fun time. Talking about masks, though, regardless of any of the bullshit, what about in a different world? Can you imagine losing $1.7 million because of a COVID test? About John Rahm the other week.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, that's when you realize quite how much money golfers make when he's like writing posts like,
it's okay.
My bad.
I'll be all right.
I'd really like to have repeated. There's no mention of the 1.7.
Caddy's version.
Yeah.
I want to know what that caddy's saying, because the caddy ain't got that much money. He got a little bit, but he don't have that much. The caddy's got to be, can I get on social media? He's asking his boss, "Hey, you mind if I get on there and tell him like it really is?"
Yeah, that's that's what I find it so fun about, when we compare bowling with golf. And I go, all right, when one of our guys gets thrown out, leading the TOC by 200, can't be caught, and he says, nah, these things happen. It's kind of annoying, but the title would have been nice.
Oh, no, I'd show up with a carved-out pumpkin over the top of my head going, I'm not breathing on nobody.
Bring my lawyer.
Your lawyer.
Yeah, exactly.
I have no lawyer.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It just, it's the amount of money those guys have is just madness. Like how much they play for.
The thing that the things that they could not or did not do to accommodate. Wow, that in our case they would have went a little bit more into what can we do for the player, because they know we have no money. This may be our last tournament. If you send us home, we can't afford to get there next week.
Yeah, and the PGA are like, get to the 18th green. All right, you're done. See ya. It's the rules. See ya.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
No, it's kind of amazing. Like looking at it. I mean, thankfully it wasn't a major. Can you imagine if it had been a major though? Oof. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt more for Rahm's caddy who lost $167,000.
That's what I want. I want to know his version of that. It'll be okay. It's what you do afterward counts.
I still think that if you're a caddy for a guy in the top 10 in the world, you're probably doing okay.
You're probably doing okay, but
you're probably smoking Belmo and Kyle Troop this year. I'm pretty confident that Rahm's caddies made more money than Kyle Troop this year.
Yeah, I don't know how those deals work. I don't know if
it's usually like a 10% deal, I think, for most of the caddies.
Yeah, some guys 15.
Yeah.
I think more 15 than 10.
Oh, there you go.
Once you get to Tiger, 10. 10's fine. I'll do it for 7.
Once you get to Tiger, you're a salary guy.
Tiger, I'll do it for 2.5%. I'll be a low balling everybody now.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you got on your board today, Stu? I can't see it.
It says 1 year down, eternity to go. Thanks for the support.
What year down? What is that?
This is our 1 year anniversary.
Oh, 1 year anniversary. Okay, I see. You have to hold my hand through some of this.
Yeah.
What's next for you,
Stu?
No, for you, Norm.
Stu.
I talk to him all the time. So.
The next is the Strike Derby. We film it in 3 days, and it will air July the 11th, the same day as the Home Run Derby.
Okay.
So watch the bowling. And then there are, as you know, there's some senior events. I am entered into Lubbock. That's the only one I'm entered in right now, I think. But I'll sit down and look at it. I've got to look at all the tours. You got to look at the majors. You got to look at so much that until they get it all up there in front of you, you're wasting your time.
You're not going to go back to Arkansas? I thought that would have been on the Norm Wheelhouse at Arkansas.
The Jonesboro, Arkansas train. I'm 1 for 1 there, Stu. Do you think I should go and mess that up?
Yeah.
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 I did. I enjoyed that place, except that it snowed the last 3 days the whole time. But
yeah. I mean, the thing is if we go there and you lose, 50% is still a pretty good hit rate.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
the last
thing 50% everywhere, that'd be good.
I want the last thing I ever do is to win. Wouldn't that be great? Because that seldom ever happened. Peyton Manning got it that way. But in our sport,
but I don't think that you could be 10% of the reason that you'd win, whereas he was very little to do with the reason his team won. I don't think unless you call the team event.
But Brady did everything, but Manning was nothing. He only ran the whole offense. I mean, yeah.
Chris, they scored like 5 points. Come on.
I got it. Yeah.
So, what's next for me, Norm? I'm going to bowl a mixed doubles with my wife in a couple of weeks.
Oh, I saw her. She put on something on social media that indicated that y'all were about to do it.
Yeah, she kicked my ass, and we filmed it, so that was good. Went really well.
So now you're going to do it with her.
Yes. Yeah, we're on the same team.
You're not a dumb husband. If they beat you, then you join them. Can't beat them, join them.
What I thought was really funny was that Chris posted it and someone said, "Oh, if Stu's smart, he'll let her win." And I'm like, "There's a guy who's not married."
No.
If you think that letting her win is going to be the optimum outcome, that's not going to work either.
Oh, no. Now she rules the home life and the tour life. Ask Chris. He'll tell you all about that. There are a few of you, by the way, Chris. Delmas is one with Carolyn Doran, of course, and Kathy and Jeff Lizzie. I'm not sure I could do that.
I say it all the time. Everybody made a big deal about Kelly winning. I said that wasn't a big thing for me. I knew I could get beat by a woman. It happened literally every time we went and practiced together.
They picked the right guy.
I didn't have any pride wrapped up in that. I just plain got beat. Whoever won that semifinal match was winning. I threw track balls all week long. I'd throw a Columbia ball on the final. And I remember very distinctly the second frame I missed in. I went, "Ooh, that's going to go high." And I two-pinned. I went, "I have no idea what's going on out here right now." And then she had the front 8. And so it really didn't matter if I did or not.
Didn't matter what gender they were if they have the front 8.
Yeah.
So, Norm, I think me and you should answer this question.
Lawrence Marquise.
How much would Barnzy's caddy make?
Whoa. He would be on the 5% train, that's for sure. He would be nearing the 15%. Barnes is notorious for having a pocketbook that's never seen the light of day.
A lot of blind presidents in there.
A lot of Tiger Woods shared money in that. They both got him. They got it. I don't know that there's a lot of rubber bands left in Texas.
Cooch's caddy. Oh dear.
Cooch,
on that note, I've got to plug the bowling that's on tonight. It's on FS1. It's the King of the Lanes. Well, Empress edition. So I guess we can't have Queen. I guess that's proprietary. First matchup, it's on 8 p.m. Eastern. Clara against Daria is the first match up. Kelly Kulik is the reigning Empress for I don't really know why, but she is. So
probably the last one to win a PBA title.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Seemed like I had a good seat for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's as good a reason as any.
Because you have to have one.
And then Danielle's bowling against Maria at 9 o'clock. And then I don't know who's. This show might be a little rough at 10 o'clock, but 10 o'clock Eastern is Missy against Diana. Just that it's at 10 p.m., not that it's those two bowling each other. Just 10 p.m. is pretty late. So 3 hours of bowling to check out on FS1 tonight. So yeah, let's get after it.
Who are you rooting on?
Well, I bowl league with Maria, so I'm going to cheer for Maria.
There you go.
So,
Chris, who are you rooting on?
Sorry?
I'm putting you on the spot. Who are you rooting on? You know every one of the women because they're friends with your wife. Probably can't answer.
Let's see. Well, Daria's a global girl. She's bowling Clara in the first match. I think Daria's going to win the first one, but I think Kelly is going to defend in the very first one. Did you say the second match was?
Danielle against Maria.
I love Maria. I think she's one of the funniest people on tour. I think Straight is not so bad at Bayside, and Danielle has a little more experience there. I think Danielle will win that one, and then she'll win. She'll dethrone and get the tiara. And then Missy and
Diana.
Missy will win that, and then Danielle will stay on top. That's my pick for the first three.
So Norm, just keep for those keeping track at home. Chris picked every American because the first match was two foreigners playing each other. Then he picked the American. Then he picked the American. Then he picked the American against the American. Then he picked the American. So
okay, so you choose all the others, right?
Yeah, I'll just take all the foreigners.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
Team green card right here. So we bowl league. Me and Tina bowl with Nathan and Maria. We bowl league. It's a bit of fun, whatever. Our team name is Longhorns and Green Cards.
I got a party with these two.
So yeah, we have a good time. Maria gets trashed and wonders why she doesn't bowl very well in league. So then she comes the next week and she goes, "I'm not gonna have a beer." She gets to the fifth frame and she goes, "Can I get a Dos Equis?"
That sounds like my golf round, I think. I'm going straight all day today. Bogey out of the gate. Yep. It'd be $90 for a 3-pack, Norm. That'll be fine. Sounds fair.
Sounds fair. Yep. Verity won this weekend, so that was
very cool. Yeah.
It's kind of fun that her and Daria each have one title, each one against each other. So they're now 1-1 for each of their titles. So that's kind of a bit of fun. Verity did do something that Belmo couldn't do though.
He won with the promotion.
Bang! And it wasn't for lack of trying from Belmo.
Yeah, I watched it. I went, why is that ball even still out there? I went, oh, it was still in the truck from like 3 years ago. And they just hooked so much that ball was actually okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but she did something that Belmo couldn't do. She won with his ball. Now he's winning with a drive.
Yeah, well.
The drive isn't winning.
No.
But the trend, I feel like the trend has a chance. So we will see if we have any trend spottings coming forward. All right, I think we should wrap this up. We've got one serious question for you left, Norm.
Okay.
What's Norm's beer of choice?
Corona.
There you go.
Oh yeah, always. Just because.
Lime? With the lime?
Either way.
Okay.
I like it with lime, but hey, look, if you're wanting a beer, you don't need to. I ain't got time to start cutting limes up. I'll be done.
No. This is for when people just randomly come up to you and go, "Here's a beer, Norm."
Oh, with lime. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with lime. Okay.
And that happens more often than not now. Nowadays, it's amazing what people do. Like there is a Columbus, Ohio now. When I sit down in that seat, I will have 3 cups of coffee, brand spanking new. One of them from a scorekeeper, one of them from somebody who always comes and watches and never misses the coffee. And then randomly somebody will say, Norm, I didn't want you to go all the way up there and grab one. So here's a friend. I have more coffee in Columbus. I'm jumping like a frog on a freeway in that place now. But yeah, they'll come by and say, Norm just thought I'd buy you a beer. Doggone thanks. Nice to be Norm. I love it.
Nice to be Norm.
I used to have to buy people a beer just to have them listen to me talk. So now it's better.
Did you see what Charlie Tapp wrote?
Stu's taking care of Norm. That's right.
Charlie's
a very important episode of Judge Judy.
Charlie Tapp, the funniest man I've ever met in my entire life, bar none. You can go and watch a freaking Judge Judy, and you won't know the difference, Charlie.
Craig says he'll have a tray of Dos Equis next time he sees you. Make it a bucket. A bucket's much easier. Tray's a mess. Bucket.
With or without straw.
No,
it is COVID. It is COVID.
Next level.
All right, thanks, Norm. It's been a pleasure as always.
Man, thank you again. Thanks for re-upping the bar for the start of our second year. And once again, all our guests have their hands full. There's a reason why you're the best. You're the best in this environment, the best with fans, and certainly in my book, in that top 3 conversation of all time.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's been a lot of fun to watch over the years. So with that, for those of you watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Support those small businesses and bowling centers, get them through this summer. And when you get a chance to make a choice, we'd appreciate if you would support the people who support us. Storm, Rotogrip, 900 Global, Vice, Coolwick, 3G Shoes, Master, Bowler's Mart, Mark Baker Bowling, and Fire Lake Bowling Center. So until next time, thanks again, Norm. Great guest. Can't wait to have you back again. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. God bless.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. And always wear drawers with your suits.